Hi, boys and girls. How are you? I miss all of you. I miss you coming to the library and us having library time and reading and checking out books. Boy, it's a bummer. I hope you're all getting your schoolwork done and getting outside to play and having time to read. Since I can't be with you, I thought I'd read you a book anyway. This book, Stan the Spider, is actually written by a man named Rick Felix, and he lives in Norwalk. And he wrote this book for kids to read. It's about a lonely spider who wants to make friends, but it's very hard because Stan is a spider, and most people don't like spiders. So let's see what happens. There he is. There's Stan the spider, just laying in his web, relaxing, having a great morning. Once upon a time, on a sunny morning in a beautiful forest, there was a spider named Stan who lived in a tree. Each morning, Stan would wake up in the bright sun and greet each new day with a smile. He would yawn and stretch and say, "Hello, sun and clouds. Hello, trees and birds and squirrels and deer. Hello, everyone." He would listen and just hear some chirping and squeaking going on. "Oh, well," he said, "it's time to get up and go to work." Stan's home was high up on a tree, and Stan could see all the birds and animals in the forest. It was a beautiful, sunny morning indeed. And I see that Stan uses a leaf for a blanket, and he just looks like this is the perfect spot for him. Stan was busy with his daily hard work. He would clean off his spider's web, getting dust and leaves and twigs that would fall on his web when he slept at night. I think he made a broom from a leaf, and he's spending time cleaning his area. Stan obviously needed to keep his web clean and looking good. Why? Because a spider web is its home and a source for catching food and a wonderful work of art. And a spider web really is quite beautiful. And that's what the spiders use to catch their food in, of course. The bugs fly and get stuck in this web, and the spiders eat them. Stan had all he needed in that forest. Stan had everything. But when he looked at the other animals playing and running and talking to each other, he would get sad. All the other animals had friends except Stan. He would just look at them as he walked alone by himself. Poor Stan. Here he is all by himself. Sees all the other animals out there playing together, but he's just alone. What a sad spider he was. He just sat there next to his web, holding his head and thinking to himself as he looked at the animals happy and playing together. Stan then said to himself, Why can't I have a friend? I want to play too. It's not fair, it's not fair. Nobody likes spiders." Stan was unhappy until nighttime came and he went to sleep. And there he is, holding his head, trying to figure it out, thinking what the problem could be, that he doesn't have any friends. Later that night, Stan suddenly woke up. Storming out there. It was a terrible noise. Rumble, kraboom! Loud sounds had always scared him. He's looking pretty scared, for sure. There was thunder and lightning, whoosh! The wind blew on his web, and he hung on with all his strength and looked around to see what was going on during the storm. Poor Stan. He's so nervous. The storm grew stronger and stronger, and the thunder was louder. Kaboom! The wind howled and blew through the trees, knocking branches and even small trees down. All the animals in the forest were awake and very scared. They ran around looking for some place safe to hide from the storm. When will this storm end? Stan thought to himself. And there's all the animals kind of worried. They don't know what to do or where to go. Early the next day, Stan woke up with leaves and broken twigs and branches all over what was left of his home. He looked all around and everything was different. His tree home and some of the forest trees were broken down. He listened for birds chirping or squawking. He listened, but there was no sound. He looked for deer running or squirrels jumping from tree to tree. He looked, but there was none. It was very quiet, and Stan was very lonely. Stan grabbed what he could of his things and wrapped it in a web on a stick and decided to move on. There's the web he put on a stick, and he decided just to move away. Stan walked for what seemed like days to find a new home, and he dreamed of friendship. Finally, his legs tired and his heart heavy, he reached a clearing and a playground. Suddenly a bell ring, and children came out to play, and they were running and laughing. Two girls were running towards Stan and stopped. Stan said, "Hi, would you like to be friends?" The girls screamed, "Ah, a spider! A spider!" Poor Stan was scared too, and he didn't know what to do. Stan's over here in the corner of the page, if you could see him, and he's scared. Stan was so scared that he ran into taller grass to try and hide. At that moment, 3 boys had heard the girls screaming and saw them pointing towards the grass. The boys crept towards Stan on their knees. They had mean, grinning looks on their faces. Stan was scared and reluctantly said, "Hi." The boys raised their hands from behind them. They had sticks in their hands. They said, "Squash that ugly spider and get him!" Stan screamed, "Ah!" and he ran from them as fast as his 8 legs would go. Having 8 legs was sure helpful at this moment. There he is, taking off, running away scared. The 3 boys chased him, and Stan ran and jumped and dodged his way toward a tree. He jumped and climbed the tree as fast as he could. The boys were stopped by a teacher, and the teacher said, "What are you boys doing?" I'm sure if you could see Stan, but he's right there on the tree. The boy said, "Trying to squash an ugly spider. Yeah, you should have seen how scared he was." Then the boys laughed. The teacher said then, "Was that spider bothering you? Did it bite you?" The boys lowered their heads and said, "No." The teacher then said, "Well, what if you were walking along and playing, and a giant alien thought you were ugly and didn't like you and tried to squash you? Just because something is different doesn't mean you have the right to treat it badly." The boys lowered their heads and dropped the sticks. The teacher told them to go back to the playground, and she went with them. Sorry, there's that picture again if you want to look at it. The teacher talking to the boys. Stan had climbed up to a branch on a tree and could see the boys and the teacher leaving. Stan felt safer now. Phew, that was scary. Very scary, but it seems okay now. Stan was relieved. Then there was a sad look on his face. All I wanted was to make friends. Poor Stan was sad. Suddenly he heard a voice from behind him. I'll be your friend. He heard a nice and friendly voice come from the leaves next to the tree. I'll be your friend, said the voice again. He got closer to the tree and he saw two eyes in the shadow of the leaves. And Stan said, You will be my friend? Then out of the shadow came a girl spider. There she is. The girl spider was pretty and she reached out and shook hands with Stan. Hi, my name is Sandra. What's yours? The girl spider said, the girl spider said, my name is Sandra. And Stan said, my name is Stan. Nice to meet you. He then looked around and noticed it was a bit messy. Yeah, Sandra said, the storm made things messy around here. I've been cleaning up things little by little. Stan said, well, if we're going to be friends, I can help you. That would be great, Sandra said. And then the two spiders began cleaning up. They're using leaves for brooms. See that? The two spiders did a lot of work that day. They talked a lot and told silly jokes and laughed and found out they had things in common. They were very happy. Finally, the work was done. There they are. Thanks to some teamwork, Sandra's home was a beautiful work of art again. The two spiders were taking a break and sat next to each other on a branch. They were resting and watching the sunset. Sandra said, thank you, Stan, for helping me. Stan said, no problem. Friends should help each other. I really enjoyed spending time with you. And Sandra said, so did I. The two spiders put an arm on each other and watched the sun go down. Stan and Sandra stayed together and lived happily ever after. Finally, Stan got a friend. Won't it be nice when we're all back to school and we can get out and see our friends again and play with our friends again? I can't wait for that to happen. Okay, until then, have a good one, keep healthy, and I'll be back to read to you another story. Okay, bye everybody.